Well, I mean, this question is actually better asked, how did I become interested in entertainment overall? Um, Ever since I was a little kid, I've always been that type of person who had a knack of showing off all the time and grabbing people's attentions. And, I've just always been into some kind of artistic performance, whether it was playing guitar in a band, which I've done for so many years, working as an actor, and DJing just became that other piece of the puzzle in my life that, after a while became a passion. And, it was just something that I knew I had something in the long run with, because just like playing in bands, to me DJing was kind of that same avenue, but on a different platform. I remember, because when I started, it was nothing more than just a job when I was in college, and when I started honing the skill, I remember my first live mix in front of a packed dance floor, and the reaction I got from it, it just became addicting after a while. So, after practicing and just learning how to make that perfect mix all the time, and then into more advanced techniques like scratching and all the turntablistic stuff. And, after a while, that it just became something I knew that I could do for the long run. My last performance as an actor, I would have to say, that was actually last year, in 2011. I did a series of industrial videos, or corporate videos, out in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And that was the last time I did any acting, actually. Actually, I would say the last time I performed with a band on stage was in 2006 in New Jersey, where I'm from. There was a place called the Starland Ballroom in Sayreville, and I was playing guitar in a band called the Count Josephine Band, and we were opening for Skid Row that night. And that was the last time I actually played guitar in front of a live crowd. I don't know if it's a matter of what I enjoy more, because each one of them has their rewards. I mean, acting, I've always had a fondness for that ever since I was little. Watching a lot of TV, a lot of movies, I wanted to imitate certain characters that I looked up to, or certain actors that, I thought were cool at the time, and wanted to emulate what they were doing. And I always thought that was something fun to do. I started acting doing murder mystery dinner theater, live murder mystery dinner theater, and it didn't pay very well. And at the time, it wasn't so much about pay, because I was starting out, so it was more about the experience. And then eventually it led on to other things like doing film, like short films, feature-length films, commercials, and of course industrials. But it was something I've always enjoyed. Playing rock and roll, that's just been in my blood for as long as I can remember. And I've been a guitar player a lot longer than I've been a DJ. And I grew up listening to a lot of hard rock, a lot of heavy metal. Bands like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses. They were my main influences. Metallica was a big influence to me, and as a guitar player, I wanted to learn a lot of that kind of music, and playing, and I saw the reaction that these bands were getting, from their audiences, and that whole rock star persona, something that I wanted to do. As far as DJing goes, that to me, DJing is just as much of a rush. To basically sum this overall, the best answer I can give you is that, You know, nothing actually beats a live performance. I mean, whether it's playing in a band or with DJing. And in DJing, it's not, you know, I'm not talking about playing in front of a packed nightclub or private party, you know, rocking a packed dance floor. You know, I'm talking about an actual live performance as a DJ when you're on the stage and you're playing in front of a large mass and everyone's attention's focused on you and you're doing your thing. You know, I mean, to me that's just as big of a rush as playing the guitar in a band. Right now I'm in Las Vegas and I've been here for almost a year. I grew up in Jersey and I lived there most of my life. I lived in Orlando, Florida for a couple of years, but most of my life I lived in New Jersey. I mean, I was born in Jersey City, and all my grade school years I grew up in a town called Colonia, New Jersey, and then, you know, my high school years and on was in West Windsor, which is a town near Princeton, and then Burlington County, which is where I lived before I moved out of New Jersey. And you know, Vegas, like I said, I've only been here for almost a year, and you know, I've experienced a lot in Vegas. I've been through a lot, and you know, I have to say that Vegas was interesting, to say the least. But you know what? At the end of the day, I always consider myself a Jersey boy, and to me, Jersey will always be home. You know, there are quite a few actually. I've been in the business 15 years, and I have to say there are quite a few performances that really stand out to me, that I am happy to have experienced. And you know, one of them, being the biggest one, was opening up for Akon at Universal Orlando. To me, that was one of the biggest thrills, to play in front of 15,000 screaming teenagers, because during that time of the year, Universal Studios and Disney had closed off their parks to all the high schools in the area, and they would come over and take over the high schools, and each park would bring, you know, every year they would have a different national act come and perform, and the year I did it, they had Akon come and perform. So to be able to play on that kind of stage and experience that kind of platform was I would say one of the biggest memorable moments I've had in my career. You know, and then all the mobile beat stuff, the mobile beat performances I've done here in Vegas, you know, to me that has its own rewarding place for me too. You know, there's other things that, you know, I aspire to do, you know, I mean, not just in artistic performance. I mean, I'm basically, I consider myself a well-rounded artistic person overall, you know, I mean, not just in performance art, because, you know, I mean, I've been involved in drawing all my life, you know, for as long as I can remember, and doing graphic design, and, you know, also, I'd like to, I don't know, maybe someday launch a clothing line, or maybe a comic book. I don't know. I mean, something. I guess something involved that I can be artistically involved in. So, but DJing, you know, I mean, DJing, playing in bands, you know, that's to me that's just an endless thing for me, and it'll always be with me.